This is a Keynesian economics graph. The axes on it are price and real GDP, and it shows the slopes of aggregate supply and aggregate demand. The aggregate demand line will always be a down-sloping line, and the aggregate supply is short run, and it's always going to be horizontal. It's horizontal because the prices are sticky, which means that they're more resistant to change. Things that affect movement of the aggregate demand line are fiscal policy through money and government spending to increase the overall output. With Keynesian economics, when the graph comes off of equilibrium, it has to correct itself, and the way that Keynesian economics corrects equilibrium is with government intervene in money flow to correct it. So for example, if B can't buy enough from A, the government will intervene to help the flow of money. And the role of money within this type of economy is that it has store value, which is a basis of income and expenditure. This graph shows classical economics, which is in regards to the free working markets. When some of the items such as consumer spending, business investment, government, and net exports decrease, then businesses will slow production and the government will slow down its spending. This graph shows a monetarism theory of economics in which monetary policy is best met by targeting the growth of the rate of the money supply, and central banks can pull back on money supply and economies to slow it down, which will cause the economy to contract. This graph depicts the real business cycle, in which recessions and successes in the economy can be shown as changes of the real economic environment. It also shows that aggregate demand and aggregate supply tend to follow each other in trend. This graph shows a coordination failure theory of economics, in which big firms need to coordinate desirable equilibriums for the economy but often fail to meet an agreement. This graph shows new classical economics, in which prices and wages are adjusted. It determines the force of labor in the economy, which is basically the size of reward. The aggregate demand is always a negative slope, and the aggregate supply can change but is oftentimes positive. This graph shows one part of the monetary economics theory because there are two parts called the Friedman and Taylor rule. In this type of economic theory, the nominal and real money are correlating with their graph slopes. To correct equilibrium, it responds to change in the central bank will allow adjustments in the nominal interest rate.